and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Angie and I'm a chemist who loves makeup. So happy new year, and we are going to be kicking off this new year talking about trends that I would like us to ditch in 2021. These aren't going to be the type of trends that a lot of people have been doing, like makeup trends or like what kind of products are out. These are going to be more like marketing terms that companies have been gearing towards, or things that people have been saying on the internet. I'm gonna take more that approach to this video. And so the first beauty trend that I would love for us to ditch in 2021 is CBD in everything. I feel like companies have been putting this in every single product, rinse off, leave on, moisturizers, so many things, and it's so early on in the stages that we don't even know if this compound is actually beneficial for skin in general. There have been some preliminary studies that have shown it to be beneficial for things like rosacea, psoriasis, atopic dermatitis, so sort of like an anti-inflammatory kind of route. But that would also kind of lend itself to fall in the OTC drug category. We still don't even know what amount you would need to achieve beneficial results if you have these conditions. And for people who don't have irritated or like acne prone skin, it may not even really be helpful at all to be focusing in on trying to find a product that has CBD. They're putting them in like milligrams. It's a very, very, very small amount. We're not even sure if this amount's beneficial. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We just don't really know. It's very early in the stages, and because it's so early, the industry of producing CBD is also very early in the stages. Some of these places may not contain the amount of CBD they say, or may have THC in them like it's not supposed to be. So for me, it doesn't seem really beneficial to try to focus on this ingredient in particular. There are a couple of CBD products I like from Chemist that they had sent me. I've been really liking the CBD eye cream and the CBD hydrating serum, but I attribute that more to the product itself and not the CBD on its own. I think a lot of brands went for this ingredient because it's trendy. They could stick the leaf on there. It's very edgy looking, but we're not really sure that it has that much of a benefit as opposed to things like vitamin C we know is beneficial, niacinamide, retinol, alpha hydroxy acids, things like that we know to be beneficial. It's just too early for CBD, so it would be nice if brands stopped trying to put it in everything. So if you like your product with CBD, great, but I wouldn't be out there searching for a product specifically because it has CBD. And the next trend I would like to see go away in 2021 is discrediting products solely based on the fact that they contained the ingredient fragrance. So this one was inspired by the EcoWell and a panel that they had relating to fragrance. This had two dermatologists, Dr. Dre and Dr. Angelo. It had Hiram, and it also had two people who are involved in industry and are very familiar with regulations and whatnot revolving around fragrance and safety. A lot of internet skincare communities discredit products solely based on the fact that it contains fragrance. We're calling a product trash because it has fragrance. Or I've even seen companies now, they're like, we don't use synthetic fragrance. That's a Clean at Sephora thing. You could have fragrance as long as it's not synthetic, or it's only synthetic under a certain amount, which it's even if it is synthetic, it's probably under that mark they have anyway, because it's a really expensive ingredient, so they're not going to put that much more than they need to make it smell. If a fragrance is synthetic or natural, it doesn't make it safe or more safe than the other. In fact, synthetic might err on the safer side because it was created synthetically. They have more control of what's in there. When you pluck something out of nature, you have to do more investigating to find out what's in there, if that makes sense. And if you do have an allergy to fragrance, if you do find yourself reacting to fragrance products, yes, avoid it. There is a percentage that is susceptible to that. Beyond that, there's not really a concrete reason to avoid fragrance as a whole. And Dr. Angelo in this panel actually compared it to nickel, and nickel is actually a more prevalent allergy over these fragrance allergies from what he said. But we don't say all jewelry should be nickel free. But obviously if you're susceptible to it, you're gonna avoid it. And there should be fragrance free products on the market. And just because something is fragrance free doesn't mean there's not something masking the smell. There's essential oils that people are adding into these products, which aren't necessarily really that good for you either. And there are extracts that have scents to them. So just because you're avoiding something that has fragrance in it, these other oils and other and extracts can also trigger allergic reactions. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't really go seek out fragrance products. Most of the ones I use don't really have an added fragrance to them. Some of them do, but I don't discount the ones that I really enjoy because it has a scent to it and I like it. So it might seem like I'm pro fragrance, but really I just would like people to be able to make their own choice on it. We should have fragrance-free products on the market, but some companies, like even First Aid Beauty, their moisturizer that's super popular, they've now released in fragrance scents, so that's great. We have two options. One for unfragrance, one for fragrance. And some people would like to make the argument that if it's not needed, why would you put it in there? Well, for some people, if it doesn't smell nice, they might not use it. So for instance, like a sunscreen or a moisturizer, is it better than for someone to not use that? Or is it better for them to use it and it has a scent to it if they don't react to it? So that was a pretty long-winded one about fragrance because it's such a complicated topic. It's not a black and white issue, but that's what I would like to see, is us not demonizing products simply because it contains the fragrance ingredient in there. So that brings me to number 3, and that is demonizing a product because it contains X ingredient. This happens a lot of times, especially with denatured alcohol. It contains the word alcohol, denatured alcohol at all, and people completely write off the product because it could be, they believe it can be sensitizing to the skin. The denatured alcohol in there can help the product. It can help the product penetrate better. It can help dissolve the product in the formula, and usually it's not enough unless it's like a toner or something to really dry out the skin. And I've seen this with a lot of different ingredients. It contains X ingredients, so I'm not going to use it. Of course, aside, if you have an allergy to a specific ingredient, that's understandable why you would avoid it. But for the general population, for the most of the ingredients that exist out there, you shouldn't demonize a product simply because it has X ingredient. There's so many things to take into consideration. The concentration, what else is in the product, how was it mixed up? There's all these things to take into account. I see this a lot in Instagram Reels or TikToks because you only have a certain amount of time to talk about an ingredient. I see a lot of just listing off ingredients in a product, and because it contains X ingredient, the product is not good, which isn't true. So number 4 trend I would like to see disappear in 2021, and that is calling products non-toxic. Non-toxic is probably the most fear-mongering marketing term. This really is a really low bar to set for your product. No product should be toxic, and products that people put out on the market aren't toxic. Your products have to be safe, and that falls on the responsibility of the brand to ensure their products are safe. If their products are not safe and are toxic, and by toxic we mean harmful at typical use levels, and it's usually indie brands that say this, in fact. And as much as I love to support smaller brands, the indie brands are the ones who are probably more at risk to have unsafe products, just because these larger brands have whole departments in regards to product safety, regulation. So it's really kind of interesting that indie brands are the ones that kind of tout this whole non-toxic and are saying that the industry is unregulated when they're the ones most likely to slip through the cracks. By these brands saying that their products are non-toxic, you are implying that every other product is toxic, which I think is a really harmful message to send and is very much untrue. And the last trend I would love to see us leave in 2021, I never want to see this again, ever, is clean beauty. It's so prevalent, and I would love to see it just not exist anymore. I cannot tell you how much that this frustrates me. I watch a lot of beauty influencers on YouTube, and a lot of them will speak on products and just very flippantly mention a product is clean, and I don't think they have any understanding what that means. I don't even really understand what that means because there is no legal definition. There is no concrete definition of what a product being clean entails. Some retailers, Target, Ulta, Sephora have tried to do this, have tried to kind of make this a thing, but it's still just really basically a list of banned ingredients with no explanation of why they banned these ingredients. I could sit there and make my own clean beauty list. I could ban a whole bunch of stuff. You put 50 ingredients on a list that you don't use, and some of these are not scientifically backed, like parabens. Parabens are safe, but that's on every clean beauty list. There are, what else is there? Some things that aren't even technically allowed in products anymore, like triclosan. That's not even legally allowed in products, and yet they put it on a banned list. And by putting things on, we don't include it, you're implying that other brands include it. Or sometimes they'll put like no, like a brand will put, oh, we don't have toluene in our products. Well, no lipstick, mascara, anything like that is going to contain toluene. That is found in nail polish. So it's not even relevant to put it on your list. It doesn't make any sense if you're a makeup company and you don't produce nail polish, why would you put it on there? There's just all sorts of little tricks like that and making these lists as big as possible to be like, look how many ingredients we ban. But that doesn't really mean anything. I know it's just going to be replaced by something else. It's what replaced natural, but I would still love to see it disappear forever. I would love to never hear that a product is clean ever again. I don't like the idea of clean beauty as a whole because you're scaring people into buying your products by saying that because your product does not contain these ingredients, it's safe for you, and other products that do contain these are not safe for you. You're now saying that every other product is bad. So somewhere like Sephora or Ulta, if a brand doesn't want to fall under your clean beauty guidelines, now you're saying you're selling toxic products to customers. What I would love to see happen in 2021 is not taking a lot of this marketing at face value and looking at formulations as a whole and not just the presence or absence of ingredients on a list. So I hope that you enjoyed talking about what I would like to see disappear in 2021. If you learned something today, don't forget to give this video a like and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can learn more about the science behind makeup and skincare. And let me know down below what trends you would like to see disappear in 2021, whether that be a specific type of product, whether that be like marketing like we were talking about, or some makeup technique maybe that you're just really tired of seeing. And with that, I will see you in my next video.